Hello you guys and welcome back to the channel. In this short tutorial I do want to show you how to start the ribbing and how to attach the ribbing to your sleeves, which works also for the neckline and also for the bottom ribbing. This is a ribbing that is going to be worked with slip stitches and half double crochet. So once you have finished your sleeve, do not cut the yarn, but we start directly crocheting the stitches, the chain stitches for the ribbing. So in my case, I'm going to have a ribbing this long and I'm going to use 14 stitches plus one for the turning, which is 15. So in my case, I am going to crochet 15 chain stitches. So once I have the chain stitches, I'm going to skip the first chain stitch and I'm going to do a slip stitch on the second chain stitch. And I'm going to continue crocheting slip stitches until the end. So in my case, I'm going to have in total 14 slip stitches. So once I have all the slip stitches one by one, I am going to connect now this piece with the rest of the sleeve. So for that, I'm going to find the next stitch. So the next stitch is this one over here, and I'm going to insert the hook and grab the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. Now this slip stitch does not count, this is for the turning. So when we are going to turn, we are going to work the next stitch, okay? Not this one. And then you can continue the pattern that you want. If you are working only with slip stitches, just continue on the way back and crochet your slip stitches. And now we are going to turn our work and work on this direction. So I will keep always the yarn at the back here, and as I told you, I'm going to skip that slip stitch that I did, and I'm going to insert the hook on the back loop of the next stitch, because I'm working slip stitch through the back loop. So the second row, it's going to be slip stitch through the back loop. This is the type of ribbing that I am doing. So I have already 14 in my case slip stitches. Then I'm going to do one chain stitch, which we will use for the turning. So I'm going to turn my work now, working this way. Now I'm working in the direction of the sleeve, so I will turn my work like this, and my pattern continues again with another row of slip stitches through the back loop. So I'm going to skip the chain stitch that I just did and insert the hook on the second stitch through the back loop and crochet slip stitch, and I will continue crocheting slip stitches until I have 14 in total. So all the stitches slip stitch through the back loop until the last one over here. So once I have all the stitches one by one, crocheted slip stitch through the back loop, I am going to insert the hook to the next stitch now from the sleeve. So the next stitch from the sleeve, so this is where I grabbed the before one, so the next one is this one here. Insert the hook and slip stitch, which will count as a turning stitch. Then I'm going to turn my work like this, and I'm going to continue my pattern, which is again one more row with slip stitch through the back loop. So to start, we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows with slip stitches, and then I'm going to tell you how the pattern of the ribbing continues. So now for the fourth row, again slip stitch through the back loop. I'm going to skip the stitch that I just did, and I'm going to insert the hook on the back loop and continue like that until the end. In my case, I have 14 of them. So be careful not to lose your stitches and count them every time that you go to the end of the row. And here it is. So this is always the back side, but as you see, I work the ribbing, and in the same time I connect the ribbing to the sleeve. Okay, this is how this pattern works. You can, if you want, you can crochet the ribbing apart and then sew it, but I wouldn't recommend that. I always crochet the ribbing in the same time, connecting it with the sleeve. So then my pattern continues after 4 rows of slip stitches. My pattern continues 2 chain stitches now, and I am going to turn my work and work on this direction. And now the next row, it is going to be half double crochet again through the back loop. So I will skip these 2 chain stitches that I just did, and I'm going to insert the hook at the back loop of the 3rd stitch, and I am going to crochet 1 half double crochet. So just continue crocheting half double crochets through the back loop until the end, and in total we're gonna have 14 half double crochets. And we crochet 13 of them, so the 14th I will tell you how to connect with the rest of the sleeve. So just crochet 1 stitch before the last one. So once I have 13 of my half double crochet stitches, the 14th I'm going to connect it with the rest of the sleeve, because the half double crochet stitch is higher than the slip stitch. So for the slip stitch I connected each row of the slip stitch with 1 stitch here at the sleeve, but for the half double crochet I am actually going to connect the half double crochet with 3 stitches to the sleeve. So for that I'm going to use the last stitch. So the last stitch I'm going to yarn over again. I'm going to insert the hook at the back loop of the last stitch. So I'm going to have 3 stitches now on the hook. I'm going to insert the hook again on the next stitch of the sleeve. So the next stitch of the sleeve is here. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and pull through also the back loop that I had from the last stitch. Now I have again 3, so I'm going to insert the hook again on the next stitch from the sleeve. I'm gonna pull through 1 loop, and I'm gonna pull it through the 2 loops. Now I have 2 of them, and again the last one, I will insert the hook on the next stitch from the sleeve, which is the 3rd one, yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to pull it through also the 2 loops on the hook. And like this I connected 1 row of half double crochet for the ribbing with 3 stitches from the sleeve, and this is my 14th stitch. So I'm going to do 1 more chain for the turning, and I'm going to turn my work like this on the other side. So this is how I will work this pattern and connect. The slip stitch rows I am going to connect with 1 stitch on the sleeve, and the half double crochet rows I am going to connect with 3 stitches on the sleeve. So now for the next row I'm going to skip the chain stitch that I did and slip stitch through the back loop of the next stitch, and I'm going to continue crocheting 14 of them. So the pattern is slip stitch through the back loop now. And once I arrive at the end, again 1 chain, and I will turn my work. And now you can see the the next pattern. So I will continue crocheting 2 more rows with slip stitches through the back loop. So 1 more row this way and I will connect with 1 stitch, and 1 row this way with a slip stitch through the back loop. So here we are, I finished the 2 rows. So 1 more row here, 1 more row this way. So in total with the first one, as I told you, there are 3 rows of slip stitches through the back loop. Now the pattern is, so we repeated this pattern over here. Now we are going to do the row with a half double crochet. So for that, we are going to do 2 chain stitches, and we are going to turn our work on the other side. And the row with a half double crochet is always through the back loop. So we work this kind of ribbing always through the back loop. So I'm going to yarn over, skip the 2 chain stitches that I just did, and I'm going to insert the hook through the back loop of the 3rd stitch from the hook and half double crochet. And I will continue to do that until the end. The last stitch though, I am not going to crochet because I am going to crochet while connecting it to the sleeve. So I will crochet 13 of them in my case. So the 14th one, as I told you, I'm going to work and connect with the sleeve in the same time. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to insert the hook through the back loop of the last stitch, and then I'm going to insert the hook on the next stitch of the sleeve, yarn over, pull through, and I will pull it through also the first stitch, first loop on the hook. So I have again still 3. Then I'm going to insert the hook on the next stitch from the sleeve, yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to pull it through also the 2 loops. So now I have 2. Then I'm going to insert the hook on the 3rd stitch of the sleeve and pull through and pull it through the last 2 loops that I had on the hook. So like this, I connect it with 3 stitches at the base here of the sleeve. And this is the pattern. So I will do 1 chain for the turning. And this is the pattern that I'm going to follow now. 3 rows with slip stitches through the back loop and 1 row with half double crochet again through the back loop. Always keeping in mind that the slip stitch row will connect with 1 stitch with a sleeve, and the half double crochet row will connect with 3 stitches of the sleeve. And I will continue to do that. So I just want to give you a tip that every time that I crochet the half double crochet row, I always start from the outside to the inside. So the 3 rows will make you 1 way like this, 1 way like this, and 1 way out. And this pattern, it is going to repeat itself. And just continue this pattern until the last stitch of the sleeve. Okay, you guys, here we are. So I went forth and back with the pattern that I have showed you, and at the end I ended up with 2 rows of slip stitch through the back loop, but depends on the size of the sleeve that you have. Maybe you are not going to end up with the same pattern as mine. Maybe you will end up with the half double crochet row. So that is fine as well. So I came back and I crocheted the last row with slip stitch through the back loop, and that was my last stitch from the sleeve. Then I left some yarn because with this yarn I am going to sew the 2 sides of the ribbing. So I will just take 1 tapestry needle. For an invisible sewing, I always sew the front loops of this side with the front loops of this side. I will grab the front loop of the first stitch, pull it through, then I will grab the front loop of the next stitch from the other side, like this, pull it through. Then I am going to grab, since here this is my 2nd stitch, so I will grab the 2nd stitch here Do not worry, it will not be any hole or anything. So I think my second stitch is over here. 1, 2, yeah. Then I will go through the front loop of the next stitch, just one loop on the top, like this. Then I will go on the front loop of the third stitch on the other side. Then on the front loop of the next stitch, like this. Then on the on the front loop of the fourth stitch on the other side, So maybe, yeah, you will see that you will have a connection like this. So the motion that you are going to go is like this way, and then this way, and then this way, you know, like a snake, okay? This way. Just try to match the stitches from both sides. And that's it. This is how I crochet the ribbing for the sleeves. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I really hope that this was helpful for you, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!